Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with Fan TV, man. Back at you with a video of the content. This video, go smash that like button, the content of this channel. Go over here, subscribe, man. Look. All right, so here we are, man. Ravens win 31-24, beating the Cardinals in Arizona in a game that's so Ravens, as we gonna call it. All right, very, very predictable one-score game versus a team that is now 1-7 on the season. This Ravens team is nothing if not consistent. Okay, so listen, the Cardinals fight hard in every game. I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying the Cardinals are some trash team and why they even playing with the Ravens. The Cardinals fight hard in every game they play. You know what I mean? But this is more about the Ravens once again, not backing up their performance from the previous week with an equally as impressive performance the following week. Okay. All right. So before we get to the full game recap, I do want to talk about just some injuries and guys that did get hurt in the game. Odell Beckham Jr., Arthur Millette, Odafe Owe, and Morgan Moses. Now, Odell, Arthur Millette, and Odafe all returned. I'm not sure if Morgan Moses came back at the end of the game. I did not see him at the end, so somebody let me know if you saw him at the end of the game. All right, but those four guys did get injured during the process of the game, but 3 out of the 4 did return, so that's good news. All right, now this Ravens game. Now some of this is going to be skewed because the Cardinals did pick up some garbage time yards. They did pick up an onside kick at the end of the game, but when it comes down to the Cardinals pretty much outgained the Ravens in every category. Total yards 310 to 268, passing yards 181 to 138. They were only down by 1 in the rushing yards, 130 to 129, 22 to 21 in terms of first downs. So it was a disappointing game. Okay, I'm just going to be quite honest with you. It's the kind of Ravens performance that you want them to do away with, but for some reason it sticks around. All right. When I did the game preview, my score prediction was 34-13. Because I wanted to see this Ravens team to really stomp out an opponent that they should be. Now, the Ravens end up putting up 31 points, but like I said, the Cardinals end up getting 34 of their own. 24 of their own, excuse me, I'm sorry. But this Cardinals team who had I believe the announcer said they had not scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter all season. Also, this is a Ravens defense that had only given up 7 touchdowns the entire year coming into this football game. Ends up giving up 3 touchdowns to the Cardinals in this game in total. So this Ravens team, man, you just never know what you're going to get with them. And that's the concerning part. That's the frustrating part. That's the part where you're like, well, what can I expect? Okay. The only thing I can expect from the Ravens is that when they play a good team, we're going to get a good Ravens performance. When they play a bad team, we're going to get this kind of performance. And that really isn't acceptable. Okay, so let's talk about both sides of the ball right now. All right. Ravens, let's start with the defense. The defense I thought was pretty good for the first 4 quarters. I think some being on the field a lot in the fourth quarter allowed some things to slip. Cardinals got a lot of I guess it technically was a game, so it's not garbage time stats, but the Cardinals got a lot of yards and points late in the fourth quarter when the game already felt like it was somewhat in hand for the Ravens. But players that played well today, I thought Kyle Hamilton was great on the tight ends today. Now Trey McBride finished with like 10 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown, but he didn't do too much of that, to my knowledge, from what I was just watching the game with Kyle Hamilton, with him on coverage. Kyle Hamilton has been exactly what I want him to be, which is a tight end eraser. Early on, when the Ravens had some more injuries to their slot guys, Kyle Hamilton was kind of forced to play on smaller, quicker slot receivers a little bit too much. But now, since the Ravens have gotten pretty healthy in the cornerback room, he's been able to stick to tight ends. And when he's on a tight end, it's just not a fair matchup for those guys. Okay. 2 guys on the defensive line I want to talk about. Justin Madubuike, another sack. The contract number for Madubuike is just getting higher and higher. The Ravens are trying to lock him up this season if they can. I know Madubuike is probably right now. You're going to wait till the all season because I'm going to try to get as much money as possible. So as he should. And Michael Pierce, man. Michael Pierce had a dominant game today. All right. Michael Pierce run stopping. I believe he batted the ball down. Michael Pierce was all over the place today. All right. Hold on. Let me see what they got him down as. 5 tackles, 4 solos, 1 TFL, 1 sack, 1 pass deflection, 1 forced fumble. that, oh, yeah, and that forced fumble to Davion Clowney, please just fall on the ball. The Ravens have been trying to scoop and score all year and have not successfully done it. Next time a fumble happens, just fall on it. But anyway, Michael Pierce was incredible today. So shout out to Michael Pierce. And last but not least, can't leave out Geno Stone, man. Geno Stone with his league leading 5th interception on the season. True ball hawk. The interception that he had, he took away from Brandon Stevens, who also caught an interception early in the game. So shout out to Brandon Stevens for that interception. But Geno Stone is truly balling now in the contract year, just like Matabike, just like Patrick Queen. A lot of guys, got a lot of good players on contract years that are balling out. All right. Geno Stone is a player that I don't think will be on the Ravens next year. I think he will be somebody else's starting safety. And I'm happy for him to get the contract and the bag that he deserves because he is truly a really, really good player and deserves to be a starter full time with no, oh, somebody has to go down for him to play kind of thing. He deserves to be a starter full time. All right. So yeah, with the Ravens defense, that's pretty much what I got. I mean, Patrick Queen and Roquan did their thing. Both had 11 tackles. Patrick Queen had 1 TFL. Kyle Hamilton came through with 10 tackles, 1 TFL. So the Ravens had a guys that were all on the field that made good plays. I feel like they did enough on defense. One area I was disappointed at with Ravens defense is the fact that I felt like the Cardinals ran the ball too easily on the Ravens today. All right, just like I said, 129 yards on the ground for the Cardinals. I felt like it was too easy sometimes. Wasn't enough push. Consistently up front. All right, now offensively, this Ravens offense was kind of what we've been seeing throughout parts of this year: slow, stagnant, and not really finding a rhythm. I think the main thing with the Lions game was that they found a rhythm early and they kind of stuck with it, especially about the first half. Right, this game they never really found that rhythm. Right, both teams go down, score touchdowns on their first possession. So you're thinking like, all right, well, the Cardinals score, okay, cool, but the Ravens come back and answer. So now it's like, all right, well, the Ravens offense is kind of locked in and clicking. And it doesn't really go like that, series of threes and 3-and-outs and things like that. I think the elephant in the room is the Ravens' usage of Odell Beckham, okay? Odell Beckham is, I still contend he's worth the money just because it changes the atmosphere, it changes the perception of what the Ravens were trying to do. When you add Odell Beckham, you're like, okay, cool, this is a team that's going to try to throw the ball more, right? It changes the perception. So from that standpoint, he was still worth the money, right? I think right now he is being misused and miscast in a role that he no longer suits, all right? They're trying to use him as boundary wide receiver one, Giants, Odell Beckham. He's no longer that guy. Odell Beckham right now in his current form is a slot receiver, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, all right? I think sometimes we go too far with this guy can play inside, he can play outside. And Odell, before the season, that's what I was saying. He has inside-outside versatility. And I can admit when I was wrong. Right now, when he's on the outside, it does not look good. There was a rookie, I think his name is Scarlett Thomas or something like that. He was sticking Odell on the slant. Odell gets a back shoulder, he can't catch that. Now, it would have been a tough grab, one hand, but we've seen him make these plays before. I just think that with Rashad Bateman playing at full speed, full pelt, going as fast as he can right now, he's your best outside receiver. And Zay, I've been saying this a lot, is your chess piece. You move him all over the field, okay? Zay can play outside, he can play slide, he can do a bunch of different things. But right now, Odell Beckham is, I don't go as far as say he's hurting the team by lining them up outside, but you're not getting your full value by keeping Odell and say, hey, look, you're going to play as an outside wide receiver. You're not going to get your full value from him playing him in that role right now. It's just not going to work like that, all right? He's not that same guy. He's not that same kind of caliber of receiver that he once was to play full-time on the outside, all right? Even when he was with the Rams, they moved him around a little bit. Obviously, Cooper Kupp took a lot of that slot stuff, but they moved him around, all right? Odell in his current state, his current form is just not a boundary wide receiver. Rashad Bateman is back to full kind of strength, and you need to play him more in a boundary role. Just have him on the field more in general. Okay, he needs to play more. He needs to get more targets. I love the fact that they gave him a designed sweep. Right, get him out in space, and you saw that speed. I believe his only catch of the day, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh, they say he had 2 catches. I wonder if they counted. Oh no, okay. So they say he had 2 catches. All right. He had 2 catches today for 34 yards. All right, on 2 targets. All right, it's just not enough. All right. But Zay Flowers, great. I thought he did enough today. It was just a tough game all around trying to throw the football. Right, it was very very slow and sloppy kind of game. When it comes to running the football, they found some success with Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards had 3 touchdowns today, so shout out to Gus Edwards. Great game from him. Now, at the end of the day, do the Ravens need to trade for a running back? That's the kind of thing that's still being floated around. I'm still going to say no. That's just where I stand. Unless you're going to get a guy that's truly dynamic in the passing game. I know there are Ravens fans that have frustrations with Justice Hill and his lack of pass protection, that he can blow assignments back there trying to protect the passer. And I get that, right? That is a weakness of his. It's nothing that can be denied. You can't try to play that off. It is a weakness of his. To me, he is sort of Ravens' best receiving option out the backfield, and he's a pretty decent runner as well. When he gets out there in the open field. Okay, for me, the Ravens gotta use gotta use Ricard more and as a 6th offensive lineman to try to mitigate pure pass blocking attempts from Justice Hill. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But this Ravens team, this Ravens effort today, it's just it's another chapter in the John Harbaugh Ravens not living up to expectations, right? Not performing when you come off a big, huge win versus the Lions, and then you have this kind of game versus the Cardinals, right? And like I said previously, the Cardinals fight. They're 1-17, but they fight hard, they hit hard. Cardinals were hitting out there today, right? Like they play hard, but still, the Ravens have to kill these kind of teams, right? It just is what it is. I don't know how many different ways you could say it, but the Ravens cannot consistently put out these kind of performances and leave a 1-score game against a team that coming to this game was 1-6. Just can't do it. All right. But that's my thoughts on the game. That's my thoughts on the offense. I thought the offense was still a little trying to find their way, trying to find their place. I think this has a lot to do with the fact that it's a mindset thing. When they play weaker opponents, you cannot tell me something is not different. I'm sorry. I see it every time. When the Ravens play teams that they know are good and they know they got to get up for, I don't see this kind of performance consistently. I consistently see this performance against teams that when the Ravens are the heavy favorites. I can't brush it off as, oh, this is a one-off. This is just, it's something going on with that. And until they figure it out, I don't know what else to say about it. But the Ravens win the game, 31-24. They moved to 6-2. They're on top of the AFC North by 2 games. I believe the next closest team is Pittsburgh at 4-3. So Bengals won again today, so they're coming on strong. I believe the Browns threw away their game. They were winning versus Seahawks. I believe they lost that game. So the Ravens are still sitting on top of the AFC North, and that's what's important, man. They win the game today, 31-24. Give me your thoughts on the game, man. But I'm gonna get out of here. It's Gabriel, Fan TV. I'm out.